everyone, it's Kate Kalthoff. Are you ready to make a masculine card today? We are going to do just that at Stamping to Share using the stamp set called One Wild Ride. This is a stamp set that is in our current annual catalog and it's just a blast. Look at this great card that you can make with this stamp set. And I love it for a birthday card, but it would also be a great Father's Day card if you changed out the sentiment. And here's the inside panel. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll teach you how to make this great masculine card with the One Wild Ride. So the first thing that we're going to need, of course, is a piece of smoky slate paper that's cut at 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored at 5 1/2. This is going to be our base card. So I'm just going to take my bone folder and along the score line going to give this a press. We're going to actually stamp the inside panel of the card first. This is going to be Whisper White, 4 by 5 1/4. And what I'd like to do is put down a little bit of grid paper here because we are going to be stamping off this. So the first thing we're going to do is bring in our black ink. This is our basic black ink from Stampin' Up. And then I already have the Life's a Journey, Enjoy the Ride set up on a block D. We're just going to ink that up, and I'm going to stamp this right in the center, a little bit more towards the top in this panel. Then I'm going to take those motorcycle tracks, and we are just going to follow that black piece that the journey is stamped in. We're just going to stamp some tracks on either side of that. And so it makes a really nice looking card. There we go. So it looks really cool, doesn't it? I love that. Nice, simple, easy, elegant inside. So let's go ahead. We'll put some snail on the back of this, just right up here at the top. We'll open up our card panel and set this in just like so. Now we can go ahead and work on the outside panel. So to start with the outside panel, we're going to need a piece of basic black paper. This is 4 by 5 1/4, and we're going to need to run this through the Big Shot machine. Now I did go ahead and do that in advance of the video, but let me show you the way I set it up on the Big Shot machine. I used my Big Shot platform. Then I have 2 of the cutting plates because you will want to sandwich your paper and your folder in between. This is the sparkle folder, and it looks like this, and this is the result. You can see how awesomely that embossed that black panel. So now we're going to set this aside, and we are going to do our gluing of the silver. One thing I should show you in this card is we're using some silver foil through the background of the card here. It just looks real masculine, and you know that a lot of motorcycles have a lot of the silver trim on them, so this is just going to be perfect for this card. So what I did is I cut 2 strips, one that's a 1/2 inch strip and one that is a 1 inch strip. And then I do have just a piece of scratch paper here. This is about the same size. It's 5 1/4 inches, and then I folded it in half, and I just took a white gel pen and just marked where the center is. In fact, let me bring my white paper in here. Sometimes it's hard to know exactly where the center of your panel is. So if you just take another panel that's the exact same size, fold it in half, then you don't have to guess or worry about measuring things. So I'm going to take my multi-purpose liquid glue, and I've lined this up, and then I'm just going to take my glue and just give it a little swish through the middle. And then I'm going to take that 1 inch silver strip, and I can set it right in here. And you can see how I can line it up right here and know that I'm pretty much right on target with going down the center of this panel. And so that looks pretty good to me. We're just going to leave that sit there for a second, and we're going to put in one of the side stripes. Again, the side stripes are 1/2 inch. And so again, I'm just going to take my multi-purpose liquid glue. I'm going to just take a line right here and a line right here because we are putting the 1/2 inch strip on each side of this 1 inch strip. So I can set this in just like so. Give that a little press, let that set for just a second. Then I can take my scissors and I'll flip this over, and I'm going to trim this flush, and I'll just do both right at the same time. Then I'm going to grab my 1/2 inch strip again, and we'll set this in right next to this 1 inch strip, just like we did on the other side, keeping that black piece through the center about the same distance. And again, we'll flip it over and we'll trim this even with our paper snips. All right, we'll set this aside, and here's what our panel looks like so far. Looking good. So we are really ready to just go ahead and glue this right onto our card base. So I'm going to do that just to get that out of the way. And we'll just make sure that all 4 borders are nice and even. Give that a little press. And let's move on to the next step. So the next step involves the Big Shot machine as well. We're going to be using the Lots of Labels framelit dies from Stampin' Up, and we're going to be using the 2 largest dies. So I already have those out. You will need a couple pieces of scrap paper if you want to make multiples of these cards and just want to cut a stack. What I did is I used a 3.5 inch by 5 inch piece of basic gray and a 2 3/4 inch by 4 1/4 inch piece of Whisper White. And then I put these onto my magnetic platform along with my cut plate, and then I have the largest of those Lots of Labels dies on the basic gray, and then the next largest down is on my Whisper White. Then I put another cut plate over the top and ran it through the Big Shot machine, and then this is what you will get. You'll get a panel of Whisper White that's ready for stamping, and then you'll get a layer that you're going to put behind your stamp panel. So let me move this out of the way and we'll get some more stamping going on. So I'll bring my scrap paper in. Actually, you know what? We aren't going to need it because there's nothing that's going to hang off of this. So I can just put this panel right here. I'm going to grab my stamps. So I have my motorcycle and my birthday sentiment already set up on a block E. And so that's one of the nice things about clear mount stamps versus wood mount stamps. It's clear mount stamps. You can go ahead and put a couple of stamps on one block if you wish. So I took a little bit of time in the beginning to make sure that my sentiment was straight and I had my motorcycle on there exactly the way I wanted it. So now all I have to do is take my basic black ink, and again I'm just going to ink this all up, and we are going to stamp this panel. So I can just set this in, give it a little bit of a look, and press it down. Give yourself a little bit of time for the ink to transfer to the paper. Pull it away, and you have a beautifully, perfectly stamped image. Just so much fun. Look how good that looks. Now we're going to take this and put it onto this panel right here. So I'm going to flip it over, going to add a little bit of snail to the back, and then we can set it onto this layer of basic gray. Now I am going to bring my white panel in so I can see all of my edges really well. That way I know everything is getting nice and even. There we go. Let me flip it over and burnish the back of it. And now let's go ahead and put this on our card. So we're going to do that with dimensionals. And as you can see, I use 5 dimensionals for this card. I'm going to flip it around, and we're going to set this right here, just centering it in onto our card panel, just like so. Now, to add the finishing touch, we're going to bring in some silver metallic shapes. They come in a package of gold and silver, and so we're going to use the silver today. I'll use my paper piercing tool, and we'll just grab one of these stars and put it right here, and then we'll take a little circle and put one down here, and then another circle, and we'll put that right here. And so our card is complete, and this is what it looks like. It was nice and easy to put together, and it looks very, very nice. I think any guy that loves to ride motorcycles would love and appreciate a card like this. and the inside panel. So thank you so much for stopping by today. I truly appreciate you. If you're interested in placing a Stampin' Up! Product order, please visit my blog at www.stampingtoshare.com. And all of the links are there to help you find the products that we created in today's project. Have a great day. Bye-bye.